Hey everybody, welcome back to Hanging Out with Successful Bar Exam Takers. And today I am very excited to share the story of a very good friend and a student who has worked so hard to pass the California bar exam. Joseph, welcome to the show. Congratulations, my friend.
Excellent. Thank you so
Must be,
much.
it must be an incredible feeling for you to have accomplished this.
Yes, it is. That's an understatement. I've been working very hard for this day, and I'm so glad that I'm now a member of the state bar.
Yeah, you got sworn in. You passed in the July 2023 exam, correct?
Yes.
Yes. And it was not your first time taking the exam, was it?
No, this was my 8th time.
8 times. And I know a lot of people are going to really want to know how you managed to not give up after that many tries. But I want to back up first and just have you tell us a little bit about your history and background and how you came to be taking the California bar exam, because you don't live in California, do you?
Correct. I live in Maryland.
Yeah. So what's the backstory here?
Well, let me just take it all the way back when I was a little boy.
Okay.
I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, the Caribbean island of Trinidad. And I had this aspiration of being a lawyer, but I had to put that on suspense because I got married at a very early age. I got married at the age of 20. So what that meant is that I had to just step this whole goal of being a lawyer aside to take care of my family. And I pretty much, I wouldn't say I gave up, but I figured, okay, how am I going to do that? I have to work. Then in 2007, I learned that you can go to law school online. So I took that opportunity, um, went to Northwestern California School of Law. I believe it was in 2000, late 2007, and I graduated in 2019, I think it is. Yeah, 2019. No, I'm sorry, 2018.
Okay.
January of 2018, that's when I graduated.
And then you took the bar exam and you weren't successful and you went back and you kept taking it. So for 4 years, you took the exam.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, that had to be discouraging.
Oh, yeah, you go through that period of discouragement when you fail the exam, but it's really got to pick up yourself after a week or so. And I'm the type of person I'm very determined for what I want. I just keep going at it until I find a solution.
But you didn't keep doing the same things over and over again, did you?
Absolutely not. Because if I did the same thing, guess what? It would be the same result. So that's one thing I learned that next time I have to do something differently in order to be successful.
And what kinds of things did you do differently? You didn't start studying with us. You came to us relatively later in the process. But besides switching bar review courses, what else did you do differently?
Um, you mean before coming to you?
When you came to us, you started doing some things differently, didn't you? Yeah. Yeah. And I know that one of the big things for you was photo reading, right?
Oh my God. I just couldn't understand this whole idea of photo reading. But then after listening to you and some of the students that were successful, I realized that it's something that is not really taught in bar review courses. It's something different. And doing something different is always a challenge because you're so used to doing certain things that you figure, okay, what is this? This doesn't make much sense. But it does not have to make much sense. All you need to do is just really follow what you're taught to do.
Yeah. And for you, the result was 143-point increase at a minimum. We don't know exactly what your score was. We know that you passed the 1390 mark. So 143 points is a huge jump, isn't it?
Wait, it's more than that. It's
Oh, okay.
100. That my February tail score was 1239.
Okay. So even more. Wow. That's even more impressive. So photo reading allowed you to read the outlines very quickly and retain information. And then you took notes using mind maps, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. And were mind maps helpful to you?
Absolutely. Absolutely helpful because it just helped to understand the different relation between theories of law Once you start talking about criminal law, that, you know, right away your mind's okay, is it homicide? Is it theft crimes? Is it inchoate crimes? Well, that's what mind map does. Or just immediately you do these different associated concepts with a particular theory of law. So I find that to be extremely helpful.
Right. And you had not used mind maps in law school or in your early bar studies at all, correct?
No,
All right. So there's two things that are wildly different, photo reading and mind maps. And then we taught you a different writing style, what we call fact law application, which was different than issue spotting, IRAC writing. Was that a big adjustment, a big change for you?
that was a huge adjustment because for a while, I, when you're in law school or even at a bar, that's what they teach, Iraq. And to make that switch was really weird, but it's okay. This is what Jackson said to do, so I'll try it. And believe it or not, I just find the FLA as such a more natural way of doing things. It's almost as though you're speaking to a lay person, right? By just explaining this is what happened. I'm being sued for negligence. Okay. And then you have a second paragraph that, you know, pretty much state what the plaintiff would say and what law he's going to rely on. And then counter argument with the defendant. He's going to make his counter argument and then state what law he or she relies on. And then the judge is going to come in and say, okay, I hear your plaintiff, I hear your defendant. Plaintiff, because I find that very easy.
Yeah. And that writing style, more direct, allowed you to put fewer words on the paper and still do well. And it took a little of work to get.
Correct.
Yeah. And so you did some personal coaching with our staff to work on your writing and the other pieces. How helpful was that to you?
That was extremely helpful because there I had the opportunity to, in a one-on-one situation, sort of convey to the tutor what are my weaknesses and my strengths, and to help me work on those areas so I could maximize the potential of getting a passing score on the exam.
Yeah.
So that was very helpful.
Yeah. And you had some physical challenges to deal with as well, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you mind sharing a little bit of that with us?
Yes. Again, after failing the bar exam 6 times, I then was diagnosed with Parkinson's former. And I'm like, okay, now this is something new that I had to overcome. But I was determined again to still move on and find a way to that even in my physical disability to find a way to continue to do the exam. And I applied for accommodation, test and accommodation, which was granted. And I was just so happy to have that opportunity because timing was always an issue for me. So getting a typist was really a game changer for me.
Sure. And then you dictated your answers on the multi-state, right? To someone to put them in the Scantron.
No, I did not dictate that part. I circled the book, the answers in the booklet,
Oh,
then transferred it into the Scantron sheet.
okay. So we didn't have the problem of you missing a Scantron or coloring outside the lines. In other words, and the point I really want to make here is that you went down and looked at every avenue and said, what do I have to do to make things different? And of course,
Exactly.
you're taking the most difficult exam in the US. The pass rate for repeat bar takers in California was 24%. So you're in that group. And the pass rate for um, the state accredited law schools like yours was even lower. And so you really are almost a unicorn, aren't you? Yeah. Yeah. What advice would you give people? Because I know a lot of folks are going to watch this and they're going to go, wow, that's amazing. How do I do that? What would you say to somebody that's struggling with how to pass the California exam?
One of the first things I say that one who's struggling needs to do is to really focus on that mindset that they have at a particular time. Because having failed by exam several times, your mindset is not in a very positive way. And listening to June explain the importance of mindset when it comes to the bar exam is really a game changer. I believe that mindset, having a proper mindset, is the glue to passing the bar exam. Because it's not like you don't know what you're doing. It's just that you're so used to failure that you put yourself in that position that you lack faith even in your own self. So I think that is the number one thing, having the
And
right mindset.
yeah, and the previous bar exam courses you took did not do anything with mindset, did they?
There are no courses that I'm aware of that teaches mindset. And the other thing that was encouraging to me is you consistently talked about having faith and believing in yourself and believing in God. Not that you were trying to impose any religious aspect to anyone, but you just kept it real in terms of everything we do. You have to have some faith, or else you won't be successful in anything.
Yeah. As part of the faith, I think there's the why. What's your reason for doing this? And so I'm really glad that you started today by talking about your dream as a child, because a lot of people have those dreams and then they give up on them, don't they?
Yes. I know a
Yeah.
lot of people, a lot of friends who started on the journey with me, and they just say, I can't do this anymore. I have enough of this.
Yeah. And it's hard on families too, isn't it? As you go through this process.
It's very difficult because the bar exam is administered twice a year. And every time you fail, you got to think, okay, another 6 months before the next exam, and pretty much another year has passed by, with you just focusing so much time on study. And you have to have family that's really understanding in the circumstances. So that of itself is also very important.
Yeah. So speaking of family, what was it like when you got the results? What was that moment like?
Oh my God. I call my sister, my one of my sisters. She just started crying. She cried for at least 10 minutes. I could hear her in the background because she came back and she said to me, I have never met someone who is that determined. You never ever gave up. She said, I'm so proud of you. You're the first lawyer in our family. And I'm just so proud. You are a true example to others. And my kids, this just everyone say the same thing. Every time I meet someone, they say, Joseph, you are such a determined man. I say, yeah, I never gave up. I never ever gave up.
Yeah. And I think that's such an important lesson for our audience to hear because it's easy to give up. And I'm not saying I'm not putting somebody down for giving up, but I think the reality is that so many people just get so discouraged. They put in the time, the money, they have the time away from family and so on, and then they don't see any result. And I think the big difference in your case, in addition to being determined, was that you were absolutely going to find different ways until you found the thing that worked best. And so it wasn't
Correct.
just the same old thing and getting the same result. It was, I'm going to find something that works for me. I think I know the answer to this, but you would recommend Celebration Bar Review to a California bar taker?
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt. Without a doubt. There's several things that's different. Number one, again, that's whole idea of having the right mindset. Number two, photo reading. I'm not aware of any course that recommends photo reading as part of the preparation for the bar. I also purchased paraliminals because I needed to find a way that after I do my regular job to just relax myself,
And
trust
for
in the
people in
process.
our audience, let me just stop you for a second. For people in our audience that don't know what paraliminals are, these are audio recordings that play different soundtracks in the left and right ear so that they actually massage your non-conscious brain. Is that a good way to put it?
Yes, yes. Messiah and non-conscious brain. And then what it does, it because on those days of the exam, you have to be able to recall the information that's necessary in order to answer the questions.
Yeah, and so that was really helpful to have access to those paraliminal recordings. I know you did that. You also participated in our group coaching calls. You mentioned the calls on Mindset with you and others. I think the real key here is that you took advantage of all the resources that we offered and then you applied them, and it certainly made a difference. The California bar exam, would you agree, is not something that you could take lightly? You can't just walk in and say, I think I'm going to take the exam today, right?
There's absolutely no way. And one of the things that students need to understand, law school and the bar exam is a different thing. Maybe you could try that Iraq in law school and get away with it. But when it comes to the bar exam, it's just very different. You want a way to get in and get out and keep it moving. You don't want to be scratching your head thinking about what is the rule? Oh my God, what is the rule for this? No, you don't have to do that.
And it really does make a difference. I think, Joseph, I know that your story will inspire so many people. You had everything going against you, born in another country, went to a state accredited law school, took the exam, had not been successful multiple times, had the medical challenges that you faced. And yet I can tell folks in our audience, I can tell you, Joseph never got down. He never gave up. He never said, "Oh, it's too hard for me." And that's going to make you a fabulous member of the bar. You're the kind of attorney I want to have, somebody that just is a bulldog and just refuses to give up. It's got to be very exciting for you. I know you've been sworn in now, but it's got to be wild to think about finally this dream being realized.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I looked at all the material that I have and studied and everything and said, okay, what am I going to do with this material now? I don't want to see this again.
Are
But
you? Yeah.
it's been a very long journey. I even forgot to tell you that I failed the baby bar 3 times in the first 3 administrations. And what that meant is that I was disenrolled from the school. I was only given credit for the first, so I had to repeat the second year and then third and fourth year. And on the MPRE, I passed on the third try. Okay. There was never an easy road for me, but I just keep going back and going back and going.
Yeah, you didn't do it the easy way. I think we can safely say you did not do it the easy way. But here you are. And I am very proud to say that you are now a member of the California Bar. You overcame all the odds. And I look forward to a very successful legal career for you. I know you're going to make a big difference. I know you're going to be an inspiration to so many people. And I'm really grateful that you would share your story and talk about what the struggle has been and what you did. I know a lot of folks will probably reach out to you and want to know, hey, how'd you do that? So we're very appreciative. Anything else that you wanted to share with our audience today? Because I know that your journey has been really a fascinating and a unique one.
Yeah. What I would like to say is that once you had celebration bar review, obviously that you and that group of people who have failed maybe a few times. Okay. So just put yourself in your position and say, you know what, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm gonna whatever celebration bar review say to do, I'm gonna do it. And trust the process. Just trust the process. Don't spend more time doing something when the syllabus says spend X amount of time. There's a reason why the syllabus is set up in a particular way. Spatial repetition. You keep repeating, doing the same and same. That way, your mind is fresh with any theory after a period of time. So stick with the process. Don't get frustrated. Don't try to implement other bar review courses. Forget about those. Put them away. It never worked. Don't worry about it. Do whatever celebration bar review says. Take care of your body. You have to take care of your body. This is a very strenuous exam, on your mind and on your body and everything. You need to find the time to take care of your body. Exercise, eat well. You don't need to do it 4,000 multiple choice questions. That's a waste of time. Focus on doing it the right way. And as long as you apply selective intuition, wow, that was so powerful. You just, based on your knowledge of the Lord, you just intuitively know what the answer is, even before you look at the answer. And that day was very helpful. So use the tools, and I guarantee you'll be successful. Don't be stubborn like me, who, just, and I don't know what's going on with FLA method. Just do it. You haven't been successful using Iraq, so you got nothing to lose. Try it. As long as you pass that exam, nothing else matters. I don't care that the majority of students use this method. I'm focusing on what I'm being taught. As long as I get that 13.9, that's it. That's all I care about.
That's right. And you did. And we're so proud of you. And thank you again. And congratulations. Look forward to you staying in touch with us and just look really excited about the future for you. And again, thanks for sharing your insight and wisdom. And wow, again, this is a guy, ladies and gentlemen, he beat all the odds and we are just delighted. So with that, we're going to sign off. Thank you, Joseph, for being with us. Thank you to our audience for watching. I hope you're as inspired by this conversation as I've been today. We'll see you as you move forward in your journey as well. Bye bye, everybody.